A 52-second tweet does not usually deserve a 5-minute video. This one does. Evan Boyle showed GitHub Copilot CLI running on a local machine, then steering that live session from the web on a phone-sized screen. That is the real shift here. The terminal agent is still local. The control surface follows you. And that matters whether your day job revolves around Copilot, Codex, Claude, Gemini, or any other coding agent, because the winning setup is starting to look the same. Run the heavy work where your code and tools already live, then keep the session moving from anywhere. The official GitHub changelog post published the same day fills in the promise behind the tweet. GitHub introduced Copilot -- Remote in public preview. The docs say you can monitor a running Copilot CLI session from github.com or GitHub Mobile, respond to permission requests, answer questions, approve plans, switch modes, and send follow-up prompts. In other words, the terminal is no longer a dead end. It becomes a session you can revisit. That is a subtle product change, but for anyone who runs long coding tasks, it changes when and where an agent feels usable. GitHub also puts real boundaries around the feature, which makes the demo more credible. Remote access only works for an interactive CLI session. The machine still has to be online. Your working directory has to be a GitHub repository hosted on github.com. The remote page is private to the same user account that started the session. And the agent still runs locally on the original machine. Shell commands, file access, and tool execution do not move into the browser. The browser becomes a steering wheel, not a hosted runtime. That distinction is the whole point, and it is why the feature feels useful instead of scary. Now look at the source clip beat by beat. It opens on the GitHub changelog, so the product claim is anchored to an official announcement from the first second. Then the terminal runs Copilot -- Remote inside a local repository. A GitHub task page opens for that exact session. The browser view shows the live remote session page, not a generic marketing mockup. A simple hello message gets sent from the web interface into the session. Then you can see session controls for interactive, plan, and autopilot. Finally, another steering message, let's plan a new feature, is typed into the remote view and pushed back into the live session. That sequence proves the core loop. Start local. Leave. Reconnect. Steer. Continue. What can you actually do once you are connected remotely? The docs are explicit. You can watch live output. You can approve or deny tool, path, and URL permission requests. You can answer questions when the agent needs guidance. You can approve or reject a plan. You can submit new prompts. You can switch session modes. And you can stop the current operation. But there are also limits. The docs note that /commands like / allow all or not currently available from the remote interface. GitHub also calls out a 60 megabyte limit on remote session output for stability, so extremely noisy long-running sessions may degrade in the remote view even while the local terminal keeps working fine. That makes this feature more important than the tweet format suggests. It is not remote desktop. It is not screen sharing. It is session continuity for agent work. If you kick off a real task, step away from your laptop, and the agent asks for a permission decision or a course correction, you do not lose the thread. You can keep the loop alive from the web or from mobile. And conceptually, this points beyond Copilot. The strongest coding setups are converging on the same shape. Keep the repo, tools, and permissions local. Expose just enough state to review progress and steer the agent remotely. That pattern can coexist with whatever model stack you already use. I also verified the local side of the story on this machine. Copilot CLI is installed here. The current version is 1.0.25. The help output exposes -- remote and -- no remote, and the interactive help lists /remote. So the tweet, the changelog, the docs, and the local CLI all line up. The unfinished part is mobile polish and rollout, because GitHub still labels remote access public preview and the mobile path is beta only. But the direction is clear. Terminal agents are staying local, and the control layer is getting portable. If you build with coding agents every day, that is a real upgrade. The concept docs give 3 practical use cases that make the feature feel real instead of gimmicky. First, you leave your workstation, but want to keep an eye on a task that is still running. Second, you start a longer job without granting every permission up front, so the agent may need a few approvals before it can continue. Third, you just want an at-a-glance mobile view of progress without reopening the whole setup. Those are not flashy use cases. They are normal, boring, everyday workflow moments. And that is exactly why remote steering for a local terminal agent could stick.